What's going on, y'all? Sean of Math Swap Tutoring, and today we are going to talk about constant of proportionality. Now, before you go any further, make sure you like and subscribe, and also be prepared to share this video with somebody else if you find it helpful. All right, so as we prepare to talk about constant of proportionality, the first thing I want to do is define a couple of related terms here that that are related, of course. So proportion, let me hold on. TION, and then unit rate. So proportion, that this term has to do with two ratios that have the same value. For example, if you have 2/1, that is also going to be equal to 6/3. So you could set these equal to each other. 2/1 is equal to 6/3. Okay. Um, this also comes up in problems where you're trying to find a missing value. So say for example, you had 8/12 is equal to let's say 16 over x. Now we don't know what x is, but we know that these ratios have to be equal to each other. So you would find, the missing value based on knowing that these have to be equal to each other. So we'll even do it here. So you can do, let's see, cross multiplication here. So let's do this. So that'll be 8x equals 12 times 16. I'm not going to multiply these because they're so big. I'm just going to go ahead and do the division here. Divide both sides by 8. So then you have 12 times 16 over 8. We know that 16 divided by 8 is 2, and then 12 times 2 is 24. So x equals 24. Therefore, you see your proportional relationship. 8/12 is equal to 16/24. You see? You also could have figured it out by seeing, okay, so what do I have to do to get from a denominator from 8, get a numerator from 8 to 16? Do you have to use that same value to get from 12 to whatever x is? So you have to multiply by 2 to get that, multiply by 2 to get that. That's a proportion. Unit rate is like, so a unit rate is how much of a quantity of something for one of something else. So what I mean is, for example, without going into too much detail, I probably just need to do a whole separate video. When you're driving in a car, the speed is a unit rate because it is miles per hour. Or in other words, how many miles, how many miles you drive for every 1 hour. And it's literally, so for example, if you're going 70 miles an hour, you're doing 70 miles for every 1 hour. This is what that means. Now, you could also represent this as, what's that, 140 miles for every 2 hours. If you look at these are proportional, okay? There's a proportional relationship between these. However, this is not a unit rate. This is a unit rate because, um, and I'll say this, 1 in the denominator. That's what makes it a unit rate. Whatever quantity, the quantity in the denominator is always going to be 1. That's why it's unit. Unit means 1. Okay. So this is not a unit rate. but this is the unit rate. Okay. Now, let's go from there and let's talk about the constant of proportionality. If you need these notes, and just rewind the video and get the notes. All right, here we go. So, say for example, you have the following: y over x equals, let's say 9 over, let's make it easy, 3. Okay. And what you're wanting to do is you are wanting to find what you call a constant of proportionality. Constant of proportionality, in definition, is a constant that represents the proportional relationship between two variables, y and x. Okay. So, and it's typically represented like so: y equals k times x. And I'm just going to show that here. All right, now, so if we want to find, so here, let me just kind of demonstrate this here. So y over x is equal to 9 over 3. We know that this can be simplified. 9 divided by 3 is just 3. So y over x equals 3 over 1, or you could just say 3. So technically, the constant of proportionality is whenever you have this, you know that y and x, so let me write this: y and x have a proportional relationship, which means that, let me see, I just want to put this here. All that means is that they're variables. So any value that y and x take on is always going to be the same ratio, if you will. It'll be the same. It's a proportional relationship. So it'll always be the same ratio no matter what values you choose for what values y and x take on. They have a proportional relationship. Okay. Now, so that said, whenever you take the ratio of y over x, it's always going to be equal to what you would call the constant proportionality. Again, you could say y over x equals 3. Now, what you can do is you can set this up like so. So if you did cross multiplication here, this would be y, and remember there's an understood 1 here. So y is equal to 3x. And here is your constant of proportionality. Okay. Now, again, whenever you take y divided by x, whatever that is equal to, that is your constant of proportionality. But typically, it will be represented like this: y is equal to some constant of proportionality times x. Okay. Now, let me say one more thing about this, and then we'll call it a video, a day for the video. All right. XY plane. Y is always your vertical axis. X is always your horizontal axis. Say, for example, you have a line graphed on here. Now, when you have a line graphed, the line is a representation of some sort of relationship between X and Y, specifically a proportional relationship. So, like, let me show you like this. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. All right, so say for example, you have so this is a point on the line. This is a point on the line. And this line isn't really drawn to scale. So I just kind of go from there. So say for example, this is actually I want to draw this a little bit. Let's make this a little bit easier because I've drawn this kind of not good, then I can end up making a very confusing graph. So let's make this real easy. So points on the line. Here's a point on the line. Here's a point on the line. And really this is supposed to be, let me do it like this. Sorry about that. It's not perfect, y'all, because we don't have grid lines and all that kind of stuff, but you kind of get the idea. This is supposed to be a straight line, y'all. All right, now, so here are our coordinates. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and so on and so forth. So what happens is you see there's a proportional relationship because what happens is for every one you go over in the X direction, you go up one in the Y direction. Okay. So you go over one again and up one. All right. So you see, so you can take any of these values. So remember, that's X comma Y. The X value comes first and the Y value comes next. And you can try to find, you can take the Y value over the X value, and then you get the constant of proportionality, which is 1. So in this case, Y over X, is always going to be equal to 1. And if you set it up in this way, Y, and just do that with cross multiplication, put the 1 here if you need help. Y times 1 equals X times 1. So Y equals X. So what is the constant of proportionality here? 1. Whenever you don't have anything there, that means that it's an understood 1 there. Now, I say that to say when you graph a line, a straight line means that there is a constant of proportionality, that there is a proportional relationship between Y and X, okay? And so it's represented by the fact that the line is straight. This is actually starting to get into linear equations, graphing lines, and all that kind of stuff. Slopes. When you talk about a slope, you're going to be talking about a slope is a constant of proportionality. But I won't get too much into that, but it's the exact same thing. Hopefully, this has been helpful. If you need more clarification, make sure you comment below the video. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and also make sure that you have a great day. Hey, thank you for watching this video. If you need math tutoring or you need SAT math help, look in the description to find out how you can sign up today. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you stay in touch with Math Swap Tutoring on YouTube. Have a good one.